Good evening, everyone. It's Jenna here from Jenna's Crafting Studio. Thank you for joining me this evening. Tonight we are going to do a card that's using the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. But before we do that, I'm just going to give everyone a chance to jump on and find me. And so while we're doing that, I am going to do some announcements. So the first thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that this catalog ends January 4th, and so I'm placing my final order from this catalog on December 31st at noon. So if there's something that you're interested in this catalog that hasn't sold out as yet, because some items have sold out, please let me know if you're interested in ordering before Friday at noon. If you're ordering online, there is monthly loyalty reward host code, which is shown here. So if you're placing an order of $50 or more online and you use this host code, this month you will earn a free embossing folder. So again, that special will expire on December 31st at noon. So make sure you place your order online before then. Next announcement is that I have new catalogs. So with the other catalog finishing January 5th, this catalog will start January 5th and will go to the end of June. This catalog is chock full of a bunch of brand new products, a bunch of beautiful new suites, and also January 5th will start Celebration. And so for Celebration, you can earn free product with every $60 or $60 increment orders. So there's two levels, $60 or $120 rewards in there. So that starts January 5th as well. If you're interested in catalogs, I do have some. They're available for porch pickup or delivery. So if you're interested in receiving a catalog from me, just put a comment below on this video and I'll make arrangements with you to get those to you. A couple other things. I've got a paper share with the new catalog. So a paper share is where you get a sample of 6x6 sheets of designer series paper. They're all the new papers in the catalog. These papers, so you'll get 108 pieces of 6x6 DSP for only $50. And so I worked out the math. If you were to buy all of these packs of the new DSP, you'd be paying $180 with shipping and tax. So this is a great way to get a selection of that designer series paper at a much lower cost. So if you're interested in doing the paper share, please RSVP with payment to me by January 4th, 2021, and my email address is here if you want to do that. The last thing I wanted to share is about bingo. So the last thing, very exciting thing about a new catalog is I've started doing bingo. So bingo is a night where we meet on Zoom. You get a swag bag worth $25 worth of new product, and this applies to make 6 cards, 3 designs, 2 of each. We play rounds of bingo, and then we make the cards together. So if that's something you're interested in, I also need RSVP with payment by January 4th, and that's $45. So that includes the $25 swag bag and 2 bingo cards. If you'd like extra bingo cards, they're $5 each, and those extra bingo card proceeds go toward the grand prize. So the more people we have buying extra bingo cards, the bigger the grand prize will be. So like I said, it's $45, $5 for each additional bingo card, and payment is due by January 4th. So if you're interested in that, let me know. The night of bingo is Friday, January 15th. Okay, so now that we've got all of those announcements aside, I am going to show you tonight how to make this gift card holder. So this gift card holder design was created by Patty Bennett, who is one of the top US demonstrators. I believe her career sales to date is something like $2.2 or $2.3 million. So I am casing her design with a different stamp set. So when she showed this, she used a different stamp set. I have altered it for the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. The Nothing's Better Than stamp set is this stamp set here. Comes with a whole bunch of different sayings and images. So These darker images are like the fill-in for the outlined images. So there's outlines and fill-ins for each different design here. There are 4 bigger sentiments with the words and then smaller sentiments. And then this set also has dies, so you get words, and these 4 dies cut out the stamped images. And actually I have a little diagram here so you can see what those dies cut out. This one's really nice because you cut out this die once, but you get the 4 separate letters. I really like that. I thought when I was going to cut it out the first time that they would all be together, but it's nice that they're separate because you could use these for other things as well, or with different sets. So some of the pieces I've pre-cut for this card, but a lot of them I'm going to cut on screen so you can see the whole process, sort of. So I'm going to start with the card base. So for the card base, I am using, I'm drawing a blank, everyone, Seaside Spray. Have a little mind lapse there. So this is a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm going to cut it in half. So I'm cutting it at 5.5. So that is your standard card base dimension, the 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to score 2 score lines instead of 1. So I'm scoring at 1 3/4 and then 5 3/4. And that's going to give me the front flap and then the inside flap. So if you see, I'm going to fold this down here and then fold the bottom flap up. Okay, so that's the card base. And then the designer series paper that I've chosen for this card is the plaid tidings. This is one of the DSP packs in the mini August to December catalog, which is ending January 4th. There's a whole bunch of different coordinating colors in this pack, and it's double-sided. All of the patterns are plaid, but there's tons of colors. So there's some that are Christmas colors, some that are fall colors, and then this one I liked because it was sort of everyday pattern. So this is the pack is a 6x6 pack, and I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4 that way, and then this other way. So I'm flipping it around and I'm cutting it at 2.5 and 1. I'm going to flip it in this way. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of that other piece. So this is my 2.5 inch and my 1 inch piece. Do I have to cut anything else out? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm going to put my trimmer aside here. I do have 2 other pieces. This is a piece of white cardstock, and it is 5 1/4 by 3.5 inches. And then I also have this piece of Whisper White, which I just actually, it's kind of a funny, it's 2.5, I believe, inches long, but then it's a funny measurement lengthwise. What I did is I just tried to fit it within this frame here. I can post all the dimensions in the comments below so that you have them. And then the last piece I'm going to do is this frame here, which is done with the largest rectangle in the Stitch So Sweetly die set. And I'm going to cut this out in with the Misty Moonlight cardstock. And I've grabbed my mini cut and emboss machine. So this machine is the new mini cut and emboss machine that was coming out January 5th. This is a smaller version of the machine. We now have a standard and a mini size of the cut and emboss. So I'm putting down my die cutting plate and 1 clear plate, my Misty Moonlight cardstock, and then I'm putting my die in the machine. So I'm putting the stitched edge, the cutting edge, down on the cardstock so that it cuts. Putting another clear plate on top and then cranking through. And this die set, the Stitch So Sweetly set, is compatible. All the dies are compatible with the mini machine. And then once you're done with the machine, it just folds up and you just tuck it away on your desk. So, got that out. And I'm going to put my plates aside and grab all of my pieces of paper. So, the next thing I want to do is take, if you have some kind of circle punch or some kind of notcher of some kind, it doesn't have to be a circle punch, but anything that's going to create a little notch in the bottom flap of your card, because that's where your gift card is going to go. I'm just going to notch that out. And then for any gift card holders, I like to use the tear and tape adhesive, which is this one. It comes on a roll. It's like double-sided tape. I like to use this on the flap where I'm putting my gift card because I want to make sure that the gift card stays in there tightly. So I'm just going to rip 2 pieces of this adhesive and put it on the bottom flap here. And then I like to grab my paper snips to lift the backing off this. And actually, you know what I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to take the bigger piece of the Whisper White cardstock and I'm going to adhere it down. There we go. Because once I put those flaps up, I'm not going to be able to get this in. So I'm just using my Stamp and Seal adhesive. I'm putting this on the inside middle flap here, or middle section. And that fits right in there. I'm going to remove my paper backing here on both sides. And then fold this up. So now that creates my pocket for where the gift card's going to go. Okay? So then I'm going to take the smaller piece of the Designer Series paper and I'm going to adhere it down at this bottom flap. So again, just using Stamp and Seal and just lining it up side to side and with the bottom. Just kind of giving it a little border all the way around. So I've got that there. And then I'm going to take the larger piece of Designer Series paper and adhere it to the front of the card. So again, just giving kind of a small border around all 4 sides of that. And then what I want to do next is my stamping. So I'm going to put my card base aside and I'm going to grab my stamps. So first of all, what I'm going to do is take the smaller piece of Whisper White cardstock and I'm going to do my stamping on the front here. So the inks that I've chosen for this card are Misty Moonlight, which matches the cardstock I'm using on the scalloped frame. Then I'm using Melon Mambo, which is it's one of the colors in this Designer Series paper. So I'm using that. And then I'm also using Memento, which is the black ink around the coffee cups. I want to use a Memento ink because I'm going to use my blends to color in the cups and I don't want the outer stamp to bleed. So Memento is a good ink when you are using your blends to color. So I'm going to start with the words here on this card because I want to make sure I line those up first. So I'm just looking at all what I've got here. So the first stamp I'm using says today is and I'm doing that in the top left corner. And that's in Misty Moonlight. Then I'm going to grab the coffee stamp and I'm going to stamp that in the Melon Mambo. I'm just going to line it up just a little bit below the other. And then the last stamp I'm going to do, again in Misty Moonlight, it says Kind of Day. And I'm doing that in the bottom right. Okay. So I'm just going to put my inks away for now because I don't want to stick my hand in them. Now taking the Memento, and I've got the coffee cup here, just going to do like a squish and tap with the Memento. I find you get a better better coverage with this ink when you do it like that. So I'm doing them kind of on an angle so that they're not perfectly straight. And I'm going to try to fit 3 on here. Okay, so I've got those. I'll put that ink away. And then I'm grabbing my blends. So these are the Seaside Spray blends. There's the light and the dark. With any of the blends, you're going to purchase them in a combo pack, and that gives you broader color variety for shading. So there's a couple ways you can do the blends. Some people will start with the dark to do kind of not the highlights, but the shading, and then go back in with the light and do their final coloring. I like to do the opposite. I like to go in with the light first, and then I come in with the dark, and then I go back with the light. So it's just kind of your preference. Blends are kind of something you have to play with before you get comfortable enough to know what your preferred style is. So I'm just really going really quickly. The nice thing about blends is you can add color later. So I'm just going back in again with the light just to do some shading here. And then going back with the dark. So I'm just kind of doing where I think the shading would be on the outside edges and the bottom of the cup. And I'll try to color a little faster here so you don't have to watch me do all this. There is also a color lifter, so if you want to create more variation in your coloring, you could get the color lifter. It's a clear marker, and it will lift some of your color. Not completely, like if you make a mistake, it's not going to pick up that color and correct your mistake, but it will offer more variety of variation between the light and dark. So that's a good marker to have if you've got the blends. Okay, so I've got that done. So before I glue this onto my frame, I'm gonna grab my Misty Moonlight and White Baker's Twine. This is in one of the ribbon combo packs in the annual catalog. And I'm gonna grab that and wrap it around my Whisper White cardstock a couple of times. And I wanna leave enough tail on that so that I can do a bow after. So wrapping it around twice and just tying a knot and then tying a bow. So I'm tying the bow just as though I were tying shoelaces, which is a little trickier with a smaller piece of twine. That's why I like to give myself a lot of slack here. And then you can go back and sort of trim up the edges. Okay. And then I'm gonna go with my Stampin' Seal here and glue that onto my frame. Now it's a little looser than I would like, but I'm just going to pull it so that it just sticks more on the back there. Okay. So there we go. Now the final step would be to glue it on the front. Now you could use Stampin' Dimensionals and pop this up to give it more of a 3D look. I'm just going to use the Stampin' Steel. I like it as more of a flat look. So the only thing with this is you want to make sure you're only putting the adhesive on the top 2/3, because if you put glue on the bottom, you're going to close your card completely. So I'm just going across with a couple passes on my Stampin' Seal. Just going to try to line this up. And then there's that. And then the very last thing I'm going to do with this card is stamp on the inside, which oftentimes I forget to stamp the insides of my cards. But this has a really great sentiment in this stamp set. So if you look at the outside, it says, "Today is a coffee kind of day," and then this stamp says, "And I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too." Which, if you're someone like me who has multiple cups of coffee a day, tomorrow will surely be a coffee day. Okay, so, and then what you would do is get a gift card and put it in lengthwise. So you could so because this is coffee, I would choose something like Starbucks or Timmy's to go in there, and that would make a really nice card. You know, if you're sending it to someone who you haven't seen for a while, who enjoys coffee, This would be a great way to lift their day just by popping this in the mail with a gift card. If you know that they frequent Starbucks or Timmy's, that'd be a great little pick-me-up for that. I will post a link for the dimensions in the comment section of this video. I will also give you the links for this bundle if you're interested in purchasing the Nothing's Better Than bundle. If you have any questions about anything that I did with this card today, or if you're looking back and you need some clarity on what I've done here, please feel free to drop me a comment or send me a message, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And if there's anything else that I can help you with an order for Friday, or if you want to sign up for bingo or whatnot, just let me know. Otherwise, have a great night, and thank you for joining me tonight. Take care.